Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 15, applications of normal distribution. Before we begin the lesson, the reading. So what we're doing, we have switched week 8. We will be discussing what's written on the syllabus for week 9. So keep that in mind. Also, if you go to the module, you will just follow the textbook readings that's in the module, because I've provide information there that you would see in the syllabus stated for week 9. So just remember, those of you who are looking at the syllabus, the readings and the lessons in week 8 are actually stated in week 9 on the syllabus, because we have actually discussed the topics for week 8 already. And that gives us a little bit extra time for you to focus on studying for the midterm, which is in week 10. In week 9 next week, we will not have any lessons. You will just have to complete the second quiz and study for the midterm. And the quiz will be a good practice and give you a good idea of how you will do in the midterm. So keep that in mind, that in week 9 you will have the second quiz and you will be studying for the midterm, which you will take in week 10. Okay, now you kind of have 2 weeks there, because I will give the midterm in week 10, and that's the only thing you'll be doing in week 10. So if you want to continue to study, but you will have one attempt at the midterm, so be careful. Make sure you study enough, and then when you decide to take the midterm, make sure that you work slowly, take your time, double check your answers before you submit. But I'll give you more information about the midterm. So after lesson 15, we will not have any more lessons until after week 10. Okay, the midterm will cover lessons 1 to 15, right? So 1 to 15. You'll see that there are no lessons 13 and 14, right? That was what we were supposed to cover in week 8, but we're not. I think like that is fine. Okay, so keep this in mind. Keep this little thing in mind. So we want to do applications of the normal distribution. So let's see one example here. The average cost of rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx, did not include Staten Island, is $27.15. So the average cost, this is your mean, right? This is your mean, and with a standard deviation of $350, right? That's your standard deviation. A 2-bedroom apartment is randomly selected. What is the probability that? And so we have some different questions here. Okay, what is the probability that it costs less? Now this first question has to do with the left side of some z-score, right? This is asking for the area to the left So just like before in the previous lesson, you will find the z-score for 2000, and since it's less than, that means it's the area on the left, right? And then you find the area using table 2. Okay? Find the probability that it costs more than. More than means we need right side, the area to the right side, excuse me, of z-score for 3328 using table 2. Remember, when you're finding the area on the right side, you must subtract value you get from the table, right, from 1. Then you will have the area on the right side. For this one here, between. I'm giving you how to do it, so those of you who want to do it before you look at my solutions or continue with the video, the area between z-score for 2190 and 3590. Right? Remember the technique. How do we find the area to the left? Well, it's whatever value we get for the z-score on the table. How do you find the area on the right side of a z-score? It's the value you get on the table for the z-score subtracted from 1. Right? Let me repeat that again. To find the area on the right side of a given z-score, find the area associated to that z-score on the table, then subtract that number from 1. Right? You're going to get a positive answer. That is the area on the right side. The area in between, well, you find the z-score for 2190. You find the z-score for 3590. Look for the area associated with the z-score for 3190 and 3590, sorry, on table 2. Write it down. Look for the area associated for the z-score of 2190 on table 2. Subtract that answer from the answer you already have for 3590. Right? So let me say that better again. So you'll get a z-score for 3590. Look for the area of that z-score on table 2. Put it down. Minus. Find the area, find the z-score for 2190. Find the area on table 2. Subtract it from the answer you already written down. That is the area in between the two of them. Right? It costs less than it costs less than 2100 or more than 3760. So you want the area to the left of z-score for 2100 and the area to the right the area to the left of z-score for 2100 and the area to the right of z-score for 3590. 3716 using table 2. I apologize for the glitch. I had to pause the video because I had to stop it to do something, and I know there's going to be a little jump here. So let me do back part D. How do we find the probability that the apartment cost less than 2100 or more than 3716? We need to find the z-score for 2100 and find the area to the left of that z-score on table 2, and then find the z-score for 3716 and find the area on the right side of that z-score on table 2 and then add the results. Right? So we should put here it's the sum of the area to the left of z-score for 2100 and the area to the right of z-score for 3716. Right? For D, the area answer for this type of question will always be 0. Because of the word exactly. Right? So less than left. Right? And more than the right. Okay. Now rental costs in the upper 5%. So this here we need to find the z-score. What do we need to do here? We need to find the z-score for that the z-score that has 90%, because it's the upper 5%, right? So 95%. Oops, 5%, or which is written as 0.9500 on its left, and of course 5% or 0.0500 on its right. Look at how we did in the previous lesson, how we found the z-score when we were given areas, right? It's a part of lesson 12, the last question I believe in lesson 12. Right, so then once we find that, we use the formula. Then we use the formula x is equal to, let me type a better formula than this. We use the formula x is equal to the z-score that we found times the standard deviation plus the mean. Okay, to find x, and that's going to be our answer, right? Because this is asking us rental. X represent rental, right? Similarly, that's on the right side. Upper mean on the right side of the curve. It's on the right tail end, right? Similarly, in the lower 10%, we need to find a z-score that has 10% on its left side, 10% and 90% on its right side. Then we use the formula to find it, right? Because it says lower, affordable, right? In the lower 10%. Now, if you want to pause the video and follow my explanation that I have so far, we can do that. Otherwise, below I will discuss the solutions. Okay, so you can pause the video, try to follow my. So you will need table 2 that I posted there. Remember, there is a whole bunch of formulas in that document. I'm not able to separate that page, but you go to page 5 and you will see table 2, the normal distribution. All right, the bell curve. Okay, so let me discuss the solution to these questions. Okay, so the same question now, I'm solving it for you. After you have paused the video, it's a good idea to then come and check my solution. Right, so this is the question. From the question, the average cost, so the mean, remember this is a symbol for mean, is 2715. Standard deviation is 350. Now we will need to calculate z-scores. So this is the z-score formula which we did in a previous lesson. X will change depending on the question, right? Each question may have a different X value, right? That is the rent. X's will represent different rents. The mean is 2715 and the standard deviation is 350, right? Now, if they ask for probability, we will need to use z-scores to find areas, but sometimes they might ask us the reverse question, which is asking us for the rent, like the last 2 questions, right? Then we will need to do this. And so, remember, if we were to rewrite the standard deviation, we know that the standard deviation is 350, and the mean is 2715. Okay? Make a little space so that it fits. Okay. Okay, so it costs less. So we select an apartment. What is the probability that it costs less? See what I did? I draw the picture. 2000 has an area to its left. Find the z-score for 2000. You will see that it's negative 2.04. I did the calculation here. Then I look into table 2. What is the area to the left of 2.04? Negative 2.04. Now, negative 2.0, I'm not going to always come back to the table because I'm assuming you already know how to use the table, but I'll do it as much as I can. Negative 2.04, 0 to this is negative 2.0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0.027. Remember, the table always gives us the area on the left side, so this is our answer for the first question. Okay, and I explain what I did here. The area to the left of x equals 2000 is equal to the area to the left of z equals negative 2.04. From table 2, this is what I just showed you. So therefore, there is about a 2% chance of finding a 2-bedroom apartment that costs less than 2000. But this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer because they ask for a probability, right? This is the answer. So when they ask for the probability, you don't put 2%, you put the decimal portion, right? Okay, what's the probability that the apartment costs more than 3328? See, 3328, we care about the area on the right side. When we are finding the area on the right side, we need to make sure that whatever value we get from the table, we must subtract it from 1, right? So we calculate the area for 3328, right? Use your z-score formula. Calculate the z-score for 3328. So 3328 minus 2715 gives us 613 divided by 350. It's 1.75. The z-score is 1.75. Okay? The z-score for 1 is 1.75. So go to table 2, 1.75. 1.7012345. It's this number. But remember, this is the area on the left side, right? 0.9599 represent this unshaded area here. So we want the right side, we must minus it from 1 to give us 0.0401. So the probability that the apartment rent, right, is more than, or is at least, you can say it as at least, or is more than 3328 is 0.0401, right? This is the answer again. This is the answer, right? But when you're talking, if you're making conversation, you would say, well, there's about a 4% chance of this happening. Okay? Now, it costs between 2190 and 3590. So first we find the z-score for 2190. It's negative 1.5, right? The z-score for 2190. So with negative 1.50, right? It's negative 1.50. And the z-score for 3590 is 2.50. Okay? So 2190 has a z-score of negative 1.50 and z-score of 3590. So we need the area between the two. So find the area for 2.50. The area for 2.50. 2.50, that's this number here, 0.9938. Right? Then find the area for negative 1.50. Negative 1.50, negative 1.50, that's this number here. And you subtract this number from the number that you had before.